Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a deep dive into the insights you've asked us to extract from Michelle Obama's inspiring memoir, Becoming.
Yeah, this is part two of our look at her journey.
Exactly. Our mission today is to explore those really profound shifts and pivotal relationships that shaped her adult life. We're talking love, family, public service, all of it.
It's quite a story full of surprising details, but also stuff that feels really universal.
Totally. So let's unpack this next phase. Where do we pick up?
Well, we start with Michelle deep in her early career as a lawyer. Outwardly very successful, but internally
Yeah.
quite conflicted.
Right. She was at Sidley in Austin, and she had this great line about being trilingual. Yeah, fluent in Southside patois, Ivy League speak, and lawyer, putting in crazy hours, like 70 hours a week sometimes.
Handling big stuff, too. I mean,
Yeah.
even legal work for Barney the dinosaur, apparently.
Haha. Seriously. But that's the thing, isn't it? Despite all that achievement, being on track for partner,
She knew it wasn't right. She says point blank, she hated being a lawyer. Felt, empty.
it really hits home that idea of the effort result trap. You work hard, you get the praise, the external validation.
But it might be leading you down that isn't that impressive path, as she calls it, and not towards, actual fulfillment.
Such a key insight. And it's right around this time, this period of professional questioning, that Barack Obama walks in.
Literally walks in, late on his first day as a summer associate.
Right. And the rumor mill was already going brilliant and supposedly cute.
But a smoker. Which, for Michelle, was apparently a huge red flag.
Yeah.
Pure self-destruction, she thought.
Definitely. So she wasn't thinking romance at all, right? I mean, she was his mentor at the firm.
Yeah, and she'd sworn off dating. So multiple reasons to just keep it professional. It set up an interesting dynamic.
Absolutely. But you couldn't ignore his mind. And his background was so different.
Totally unique. That improvisational zigzag path she talks about. Kenyan dad, white mom from Kansas, Hawaii, Indonesia.
Right. Even a phase in college she described as like a 16th century mountain hermit, just reading philosophy, wildly different from her upbringing.
But they connected
Yeah.
through what she called plain-spoken candor. Lots of intellectual back and forth.
His political ideas versus her focus on like legal aid, a friendship, really.
Definitely a friendship first, though she apparently never let up on the smoking thing.
Ah, I bet. But you can kind of sense the shift happening in her writing, can't you? That friendship starts to deepen.
Yes, slowly. She admits she started wondering about him, getting, a little excited when he'd show up.
But her family, not so sure at first.
Oh yeah, her dad and brother Craig were apparently pretty skeptical. Made predictions like he won't last, based on her track record, I guess.
Tough crowd. But Barack had that, what'd you call it, a unicorn quality.
Yeah, this sort of self-assuredness, this ability to prove himself, plus the unique background, he stood out.
And being around him, it seems like it sparked something else in her too, a realization about purpose.
That's a really crucial point. She realized that while her focus had been very much on her achievements, getting ahead, overcoming her hurdles.
Barack was thinking bigger.
Exactly. He wanted to, in her words, get the place itself unstuck. He had this broader vision, this hope for whole communities, like Roseland, where she grew up.
Wow. How did seeing that affect her?
It seems like it was a major turning point. It made her see her own ambition, focused on personal success, in a different light compared to his focus on, collective impact.
That's huge. A fundamental shift in perspective, really. Not just about careers, but about what meaningful work even looks like.
Right. And that shift from the purely personal to something bigger really starts to shape their choices as a couple. Choices about love, family, and inevitably their careers.
So let's talk about that courtship. It wasn't exactly straightforward starting long distance back in '89.
Definitely not. No texting back then. So lots of phone calls.
Yeah.
Which apparently wasn't Barack's favorite thing. He preferred letters.
Letters, which probably drove her a bit crazy at first.
You get that impression. But then there was that Christmas trip to Hawaii. That sounds like it was a big deal.
Meeting his family, right. Toot and Grumps, his half-sister Maya.
Yeah, and seeing him in that context, seeing his old friendships, how much he respected his mom, who sounds like a really strong character herself.
That must have been really grounding for her.
It seems like it was.
Mm.
It helped her see him as this wholly formed person.
Yeah.
Someone who valued truth, who could handle a partner, with her own drive, her own passions and voice.
And then he moved to Chicago, into her place.
Yep, the Euclid Avenue apartment, and apparently fit right into her family, even passed the brother test.
The basketball game. Crick's verdict. No ball hog and had guts.
That's basically the ultimate seal of approval from a brother, right?
Totally. But it wasn't all smooth sailing personally for Michelle around then. She mentions a tough period after a friend died.
Right, she started journaling a lot, questioning things, still hating law, wondering about her life's direction, even questioning Barack's influence. Like, would she be asking these questions if he wasn't always pushing her?
That's really honest, and it sort of leads into the engagement story, which is unconventional.
Yeah, definitely not typical. They were apparently having this intense discussion, maybe even an argument, about marriage,
And he just pulls out the ring.
mid-argument,
Yeah.
and says something like, well, that should shut you up.
Oh my gosh. Memorable, for sure. And quintessential Barack, it sounds like.
Totally. And not long after that, she makes this huge career leap, leaves the law firm.
Right, takes the job offer from Valerie Jarrett to work at City Hall. That was a big pivot.
A huge pivot. Her first real swerve, she called it. And it came with a big pay cut, too. But she saw the potential for, real impact.
And Valerie Jarrett became a really important figure in her life.
Immediately, she describes her as this fast-moving comet, confident, human, managing work and motherhood, just always excellent.
Yeah.
A key mentor and friend.
Their wedding sounds like it was incredibly personal, too, October 92.
Yeah, especially with her brother Craig walking her down the aisle since her father had passed away.
And the honeymoon, a pilgrimage to Kenya.
Yeah, connecting with Barack's family history, meeting his sister Alma and Granny Sarah.
Who asked her that amazing question, which one of your parents is white?
Can you imagine? Talk about direct. But it sounds like an important trip for both of them,
For sure. And then she moves into another new role, running Public Allies Chicago.
which she felt was like destiny,
Uh.
helping young people find meaningful work. But again, the reality check of nonprofit finances.
Yeah, that reflection on the strange and cruel randomness of who gets ahead, who has privilege. It's a recurring theme, that awareness.
Absolutely. And then comes the next major chapter, parenthood, which wasn't easy.
No, she's incredibly open about their struggles with fertility, the miscarriage, going through IVF.
And she talks about the toll it took, not just physically, but emotionally. Feeling that acute burden of being female, The unequal sacrifice often involved in starting a family while juggling a career.
It's such an important perspective to share.
It really is. But then, the immense joy when Malia arrives in 1998.
Instantly smitten, she says, obsessive new parents.
Yeah, suddenly dinner conversations shift from, juvenile justice to debating pacifiers.
Been there. And she eventually goes back to work at the University of Chicago Medical Center, trying to do it all.
Right, striving for that career woman and perfect mother balance, with help from their babysitter, Lorena, who sounds like a lifesaver.
Meanwhile, Barack's political career is taking off.
Yep, he wins his state Senate seat in 96, which was also around the tough time he lost his mother, Ann Dunham.
Right, and he kept pushing, even after setbacks like losing that congressional race in 2000.
But this is where you start to see the strain on their family life really build. His political schedule meant lots of time away.
The frustration with his punctuality or lack thereof, his eternal optimism.
Exactly. On my way. Could mean he was still hours out. She talks about feeling raging or unavailable by the time he got home.
It highlights that fundamental clash, doesn't it? When one person's career demands just keep expanding, a very real challenge.
Definitely. And all these personal dynamics, these struggles and shifts, they really set the stage for what comes next. The national stage.
Barack's run for the U.S. Senate in 2004, which meant even more scrutiny.
Way more. And again, Valerie Jarrett is there as a friend and advisor, helping them navigate it all.
And that Senate race itself was kind of wild, wasn't it? His path cleared in unexpected ways.
Yeah, she calls it paved in four-leaf clover. Scandals took out his main opponents, both in the primary and the general election. Just boom, the path opened up.
Incredible timing. And then the speech, the 2004 DNC keynote.
Oh, yeah. 17 minutes that changed everything. She was there watching from the wings.
Describe that moment from her perspective.
She talks about feeling this immense quiet pride, like she knew he could do this, but also an immediate sense that everything had shifted.
How so?
She instantly felt herself becoming Mrs. Obama in a way that felt diminishing. A Mrs. defined by her Mr., the start of grappling with this new public identity.
That must have been jarring, suddenly being defined by someone else's spotlight.
Totally. And her first experiences as a political spouse in D.C. sound kind of overwhelming. navigating those decorous traditions, the sober self-regard of Washington.
And she notes how overwhelmingly white and male it felt.
Exactly. She tried to take this new role seriously, but also felt confused, like she was getting sucked in.
And then the criticism starts, people misinterpreting things she said or did.
Yeah, like that Princess of South Chicago comment that got twisted. That was really the beginning of her having to consciously think about her public image,
Starting to figure out how to manage it, how to use that platform to connect with people authentically.
right? Learning to define herself all over again, but this time under this incredibly bright, often harsh spotlight.
It's such a journey just in this middle section of the book.
Mhm.
When you think about this phase, her becoming us phase, what's the core takeaway for you about this idea of becoming?
What really strikes me is how messy and ongoing becoming actually is. It's not like you arrive somewhere. It's this constant negotiation, this adaptation.
Yeah.
Michelle's story here shows it's not just about the big events, marriage, kids, career changes. It's about the internal work, the calibration needed when the world's expectations shift, the courage to change course, and the resilience to keep defining yourself when everyone else is trying to define you.
That constant calibration, that really resonates. So we've walked through her journey into partnership, motherhood, major career shifts, and those first kind of tentative steps onto the national political stage.
Yeah, seeing how she navigated defining herself while her world and her husband's world just kept getting bigger and more public.
It's a masterclass in figuring out who you are amidst immense change.
Absolutely. So much to unpack.
Well, next time, we're diving into the final part of becoming. The White House years. We'll look at Barack's presidency and Michelle's really impactful time as First Lady, the huge challenges and the incredible triumphs.
Can't wait for that. It's the culmination of everything we've talked about.
Definitely. So as we leave you today, think about this. We've seen how Michelle's journey involved looking at her life through different lenses at different times. What part of your own journey, if you looked at it unexpectedly, might reveal a new facet of who you are becoming?
That's a great question to ponder.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe and follow the Depth Dive so you don't miss the final part of this incredible story.